I tried. I failed. I didn't finish the book. Let's talk about it. What's good, y'all? It's Ahmed. Welcome back to Ahmed's Voice, the digital journal. This is a book review, a book I've been reading. The book is called Genesis: Artificial Intelligence, Hope, and the Human Spirit, written by Harry Kissinger, the late Harry Kissinger, Greg Mundy, and Eric Smith. I couldn't keep going. Didn't hold me. It wasn't holding me. I'm not going to blame the book. The book is a very interesting subject. If you didn't join me for the last episode of this book review, head on back. I think it's like entry 33 or something like that. Very good book. Very promising book. I can't honestly say it's a good book because I didn't finish the book. This is a book that was basically talking about, as it says in the title, artificial intelligence, hope, and the human spirit, and was kind of delving into how humans have always been collectively had to put their minds together to drive technology to the next level, except for some loners, like Nikola Tesla, but how man has always had to put their brains and their skills together to get to the next place, and it's kind of placing that combined intelligence and combining what artificial intelligence can do. And again, don't get me wrong, I think it had great promise. I was very interested in it. It just wasn't holding me, but I can't blame the book, because I think if I wasn't looking at something else and something else wasn't drawing me, I would have finished this book. But I have to be honest with you. You only have so much time on this earth. And I've been in a situation where I've been able to have to read a lot of books. And you have to go with what draws you, what is drawing you, what is really piquing your interest, right? And so when I bought this book got delivered. And then about 3 days later, I was on the UC San Diego campus with my twins, and we went to the library, and there was something else that caught my eye. And I grabbed that book, and I was like, oh, let me check this out right now, and I'll read it after I finish this. And I've been kind of in this halfway place, right? Again, this book is really good, and I'll go back to reading this. But the book that's been drawing me, that's just been calling me, is this book called Grace in All Simplicity. This book really has a lot of promise and was really drawing me. This book is called Grace in All Simplicity: Beauty, Truth, and Wonders on the Path to the Higgs Boson and the New Laws of Nature. Robert N. Kahn and Chris Quigg. I really like the title, that typeface, but that title, Grace in All Simplicity. There's a quote from Ronald Reagan. He gave a speech where he was talking about how answers were simple, but you can't confuse simple with easy. That those are two different things. Simple does not mean easy, and easy does not mean simple. Something can be simple, but require a lot of work. You know what I mean? It might not be easy, but it's a simple solution. So I really like that title. Again, this book is about... This book is really talking about the Higgs boson and how we got here with the Higgs boson. And this is something that is really interesting to me. If you don't know what the Higgs boson is, in Switzerland, about 100 meters underground, there is this giant tunnel, a giant circular tube that is basically a large hadron collider. And what these colliders do, there are colliders all over the earth, but this is the one ran by CERN, right? And what the hadron colliders do is that they're taking atoms and they're basically smashing them in this 20. I'm being really simple about this explanation. I might be murdering, but this is a simple explanation. And they're smashing atoms. And what they're trying to find with the Higgs boson is the God particle. And I think they did in 2012. The risks that come along with doing that, if you read up on this and you study that, is that you can literally rip the fabric of the universe. You're trying to find the very particle of the universe. You're trying to get down to the most minute thing when it comes to the fabric of our reality. And You know, you have to admit, since 2012, things have been a little weird, to say the least. You know, there's nothing wrong with saying that. I think we're well beyond things of conspiracy now. We're in a new age. We're in a new age of quantum realities. The things that go on at CERN are very, very intriguing to me. I think we can't be afraid that we're going to destroy the world, because I mean the world has been destroyed many times over. I don't know how many extinction level events there have been. We have civilization upon civilization living. You know, we're walking over on the top of past civilizations every day, every planet of the earth. You can try to record where you've come from, but this thing has been turned over and flooded and so many times. One thing that really intrigues me about the Higgs boson and the Hadron Collider and this quantum realities is that we're at a point with our technology where we are trying to figure out the substance of reality. And I think we understand that even Elon, with all his posturing of trying to get to Mars, that's great. What comes after that? By the laws of nature and, you know, science that we live in, it's just too far. We're not getting anywhere. We're not getting anywhere like we are. So when you hear Peter Thiel and these guys, and they're talking about some type of intelligence that is beyond us, because the reality isn't a physical traveling, we're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to get anywhere, and it's probably doubtful anyone is going to get to us in one piece without the type of technology that bends space, time, and the very fabric of reality into where you have quantum realities where you can transmit yourself from one place to another. Like, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the very fabric of existence, which is why they call it the God particle, right? And so what this book is doing is going to chronicle how we got here along that path. You know, that splitting atoms was not just about creating a nuclear war or nuclear power. We're actually talking about the very fabric of our existence. Dimensional crossing over, new dimensions of, you know, consciousness, if you will, maybe new physical dimensions when it comes to time and space. We've even seen that, we've heard that at CERN, when they did do this big thing, that they know they had entities that actually crossed over out of whatever they did. And so this is what is really interesting about that. I think, you know, when we're talking about new realities, and now we're looking at, you know, how much over the last 10, 12 years, how it's become more acceptable, especially by government officials, to talk about UAPs, now that they're called UFOs, right? We're more out and talking about this phenomenon happening, right? But we have things like the Higgs boson and the Hadron Collider and these things going on, and you know, we know that they do a lot of rituals there. It's not, I mean, they just do ceremonial dances, because we are to the point to where we have to understand science and spirituality are probably the same thing. That we're talking about other dimensions, we're talking about other entities, and we are now trying to rip the fabric of reality. That's what's going on. I think on a quick side note, I think one of the most important films of this year that we're going to see is Disclosure Day. I'll start talking more about it as we talk about predictive programming, and this is nothing like controversial. Like, we know that the CIA and Department of Defense, they have a heavy lay into the movies that we watch and the stories that we watch. This is nothing, this is fact. This is not, you might, because you don't know about it, think it's crazy, but it's fact. Like, almost everything we watch that has some type of scientific or military or government spin on it, the CIA and the Department of Defense and other government entities are right in there on it. But I think when we're talking about predictive programming, we're seeing how things are moving along, with now President Obama and President Trump talking about aliens, but that is nothing new. We had Bill Clinton numerous times talking about aliens and what he learned when he became president. We had Ronald Reagan, who gave a series of speeches during his presidency on the international stage about aliens and what it would be like for alien encounters, while he was trying to start the Star Wars program, which was a strategic defense program in outer space. It's all very interesting, but I think we're at this time, like that movie is called Disclosure Day, and there's a documentary out, or it should be out, it's supposed to be out, you can see a trailer, but it's supposed to be a documentary out called The Age of Disclosure. where you have all these government officials from Marco Rubio to all others down the train talking about declassified information when it comes to UAPs and aliens. And, um, there's the stories of Project Bluebeam. I just think we're in a different time. I think we're in a different place. I think there's a lot of things that are happening every day that we're infantile and acting like baboons fighting with each other. Like we're at the infant table. They're keeping us busy with the separation. There are the other things going on. Let me get back to this book, right? I want to tell you how drawn in this book. This is going to be for the geeks. And I want to read the beginning of this. It's not really a prologue. It is literally an invitation. That's where we start at, an invitation, right? Let me read you the first sentence. Grace in all simplicity separates and illuminates science in the making, featuring the people who make the discoveries and reveal the insights that redefine a place in the universe. Many of the stories tell how new truths were found, while others illustrate the puzzles for which we have yet no answer. And then I want to skip down to this. We invite you to join us as we follow the path of extraordinary people who uncover new laws of nature. The trail leads to mountaintops, to caverns, to the coldest place on earth, and to the farthest reaches of the cosmos. We will be traveling light with no equations, no diagrams, no tables, no pictures. The best part of many journeys is often the people you meet along the way. So we will introduce you to some of our friends and colleagues who made fundamental discoveries over the past 50 years, and to some of our heroes of the past. Among these are professional scientists and amateurs, eccentrics and normal folk, performers and introverts. And so that's what I'm really interested in, to see the lines, that the path that gets drawn from, those of old that we have record of, to now about, who was curious enough to try to go down this road of actually cracking reality. It doesn't scare me. It's actually fascinating to me. It's fascinating to me, and I'm excited to live in this time, because people are always scared of what's next. Well, anything can be what's next. Like, we live in a cosmic shooting gallery. Like, no, nothing. Tomorrow is not promised, and there's not one religious leader. Jesus, Buddha, pick you which one. None of them promise you safety. None of them promised you safety, and none of them promised you an easy time in this life. They promised to give us the strength and the understanding to be able to think, to be able to become higher creatures, and to be able to transcend our everyday circumstances. So I'm really looking forward to reading this book. I think it's going to be really interesting. Again, this is something I'm very, very interested in. The quantum realities, the things we don't know, the things what these world governments are doing, because we know they are. Like, they can't let the peons, everybody know what's going on. We would tear this place apart. But I'm really interested in the quantum realities and this pathway of how we got here and how these people think who have paved this way. I think this goes along with a lot of other things that are happening right now. We are going through this crazy bout of solar weather that line up with our human trials and what's going on around the world, and how we act as a group of human beings, even to how we set monetary policy, the price of silver, just everything, social unrest. It's really interesting. And right now, as we get ready to enter the week of my birthday, we're having this 6-planet alignment that is going to be really wild, starting this Saturday into next week. So we're just at a really exciting time. And I think this book just got me really excited, which is why I couldn't finish Genesis, to be honest with you. I just kept seeing this one out the side of my eye. So I'm going to start this. I do have a lot of time coming up on Sunday. I'm going to dig into this, and we will be talking about this and some other references. Some of the things, if you don't know what I'm talking about with the Higgs boson and the Hadron Collider at CERN and these other things, if you are watching this on Substack or anywhere you're watching this, I will put links to all these things, some videos on the Substack page. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see the links back to the Substack page. If it's on Spotify, you'll see the links to this. You can always visit me at the Substack page. But I'm really excited to look at that. I will be bringing you part one, as I dive into this book. Again, I will revisit Genesis. It is a very promising book. Just this other one is just calling me, and it's got me excited. So that's where I'm going to go. But anyway, thank you for rocking with me on Ahmed Dance, the Digital Journal. Give me a follow on Instagram at Ahmed's Voice. You can follow me on Facebook at Ahmed's Voice, YouTube at Ahmed's Voice, TikTok at Ahmed's Voice. I make it really easy for you to find me. ahmedsvoice.substack.com on Substack, and you can get to all the links at ahmedsvoice.com. Thank you. Talk to you soon.